What's up, everybody? My name is Vince. Welcome to the channel. If you've been here for a while, you'll know that we're a pretty cheerful group of people, the very cool gang. But every once in a while, we need to take a serious look at life, construction, DIY projects. I got a pretty scary story, and it's close to home. I'm not going to name names. There's a simple tool that pros use. DIYers overlook, and then disaster happens. Disaster strikes. People will go, it was an accident. There's no such thing as accidents, just like there's no such thing as coincidences. The reality is it's neglect. Neglect to take the proper precautions to keep your property, your loved ones, your investments safe. And pros know this because we pay the insurance premiums. I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you how it could have been prevented right after this message from our sponsor, VCG Construction. People ask why I'm screaming. And the reason is because when I talk, I'm passionate. And this video, I'm very passionate about because of safety. I think people don't value even their own life. Okay? Without this simple tool that pros use all the time, people could die. Like a person could die. A DIYer could potentially die or burn down their house, cause an even greater catastrophe. I mean, people can die. People don't take safety serious enough. People always think it's not going to happen to them. And quite frankly, it can. Now, even after you use precautions, sometimes accidents happen, I suppose. But wouldn't it be better to feel as though you've done everything possible? And this simple tool is just one more way to make sure that you're safe. I know someone that was selling their home. They were moving to another state. They had to sell fairly rapidly. After a home inspection was done, repairs had to be made to the house. The homeowner decided they weren't going to hire that expensive contractor to make the improvements. So what did they do? They broke out their tools, power tools and such, and got started on making some minor renovations. I guess there were fans of the channel because a Sawzall was involved. There was some water damage to drywall that had to be removed. They began to cut the drywall out. They nicked an electrical wire, which caused arcing. That spark and arcing went up into the wall cavity attic space. Then combustible material caught fire. Now, it wasn't a huge fire, but it could have been a huge fire. What turned out to be minor renovation to drywall turned into framing members, structural members having to be replaced, all new drywall. Some encapsulation primer had to be applied in a lot of areas in the house. It turned into a significant fire. That, I guess my point is the house didn't burn down. It could have burned down, but the fire department got there in time that the whole house did not burn down. Here's the reality. If simple precautions were taken and a inexpensive tool, $20 tool was used, maybe this disaster could have been averted. Now let's be clear, this is just one story of dozens and dozens of stories that I've heard throughout my career in the construction industry. Leave it down below. Did you start a DIY project, or did you know someone that started a DIY project? Everything was going along just swimmingly. You thought you were going to save big money because you didn't have to hire that pesky contractor, and then boom, disaster struck. We want to hear the story. Now here's a question. Is the problem that we just spoke about big enough to warrant spending an additional $20 or $25 for this simple tool that pros use, that you should make the investment? Well, I will say this. The National Electrical Code was amended at one point to solve this issue. So I would say yes. I'm not saying that disaster strikes on job sites strictly for DIYers. Contractors have their problems as well, okay? And although I've been pretty lucky, I'm gonna knock on wood, because you never know when something could go wrong. You just don't, I guess you don't know. But the more cautious you are and have the right equipment and tools, the better off you will be. Why is it that DIYers sometimes are more likely to have disaster strike? I'm going to tell you what I think that it is. It's the now culture. People watch home improvement shows on HGTV where an entire room or house is renovated in pretty much 20 minutes when you include the commercials. Nobody ever takes into account, plumbing that has to be moved or electric that have to be moved. I literally would be aggravated every time I saw a renovation where a wall had to come down. The renovation starting with a sledgehammer. Yes, a sledgehammer to knock down a non-load-bearing wall, even if it was load-bearing. That would be even worse. A load-bearing wall that would have drywall on it. I mean, even plaster. Who wants to use a sledgehammer and create an even bigger mess when it can be taken down systematically, pulled apart, cut out in sections? It's just reckless. The television programs, what they do is they create this expectation for DIYers and professionals alike that everything's going to happen immediately. Let's get started right now. What's the holdup? It just becomes unsafe to have unrealistic expectations that these programs create. So at this point, I know you're really wondering, hey, what is this $25 tool that's going to save me from disaster? It's going to set my project off on the right foot. It's going to keep me from destroying my property, potentially even saving someone's life. What is it? And here it is. This is a non-contact voltage detector, or a tick tester. This tester will detect voltage in outlets and cabling. You can see here, we've inserted our tester into the hot side of our outlet. It's picking up that voltage. Now, if we insert it into our neutral side, you'll see it's detecting our neutral. But this is the best part here. You don't necessarily need to insert it into the outlet. Let's just say you have some non-metallic cable like Romex. You could take your tick tester and run it over your cabling. Now this is an extension cord. This is obviously not Romex cable. Sorry if it's confusing. We're using it as an example. But you can see that this high quality tick tester from Klein can actually detect inside the cable what is closest to the outside casing of this extension cord. These cables wind in a circular motion through this cord. The neutral or ground is closest to the outside sheathing of this cable right now, so it's picking up the neutral. But as we move down, the hot wire is closest. And as we move, you'll see we're picking up the neutral again. So this is a really great way to determine if you have hot wires. This is the thing. A lot of DIYers, what they'll do is they will demo a wall, okay, or the drywall, or take out a non-load-bearing wall in anticipation of their electrician coming to relocate that electricity. But they fail to test. Even after you've turned off the breakers you believe to be correct to get this outlet and its wiring dead, okay, you still need to test the outlets. Okay. The other thing is this tick tester makes a nice loud audible noise. So if you needed to go and turn that breaker off, you can plug this into the outlet, leave it run, and go and flip your breakers until this is silent. For DIYers, in my opinion, this is potentially the best $20 you'll ever spend. It's a great investment. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you money. You're going to be less likely to have disaster strike. Your mileage may vary, though. If you're an unlucky person, I don't, that's on you. This is just one more tool you should add to your toolbox before starting any DIY project. And if you like getting solid advice from someone that's been working in the trades pretty much his entire life, then smash the like button. It's free for you to do. It doesn't cost 20 bucks to smash the like button. It's free, and it helps out the channel immensely. Also, leave them down below. What do you think? Should everyone own one of these? Do you think it's a waste of money? Do you use a tick tester? Do you not like a tick tester? Should you follow up? I will say this. I like the tick tester, but sometimes I like to follow up and check with a contact tester. With that, I want to say I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you all on the next one.
Video's over, but I know you want more. So this is how you're going to get it. First thing you need to do is pretend you're this guy, and you're here at the birthplace of freedom. Now ring that bell like it's 1776 and let all notifications through. What? You're not subscribed yet? Well, smash this button here. After that, watch this video here, and maybe over here. See you later.